Hi, I'm Jeanie, and I co-facilitate with this person here. Her name's Joan. Oh, do you want to say
I'm
something
Joan.
too?
We're going to talk about co-facilitation.
We love it.
We do love it. We've been doing it together for 25 years. And I think some of the most magical things are planning together, figuring out what the workshop is together and using two minds to think about how things work together.
And then taking the agenda we've designed together and identifying who's taking what piece. And then we go and do it and don't stick to any of that. Well, we stick to the agenda, but sometimes it's Joan, sometimes it's me. And people said, hey, you're dancing together. And if people are saying you're dancing together, we know we're co-facilitating.
And it's really fascinating. After 25 years, we still go through that in an agenda, like who's taking what piece, even though we don't often adhere to it anymore, because it helps us craft in our minds how it is we listen to each other in the room, which I think is the real magic of co-facilitation.
Mm-hmm. And we actually determine our agreements before we start. Every time, how are we going to be together? Just like we ask our participants, what are your agreements for working well together? Joan and I do that even before entering the room and knowing that we are pretty much in agreement with our agreements. And we can switch those and we laugh a lot, right? Because if, and people see that, like we give each other a bad time. We'll ask each other questions and Joan will say something, I'll say, no. And we just laugh and have fun because that's what we want our participants to do.
And I think the real power for me of doing those agreements, even though that fundamentally they're the same, is it reminds us of the power of doing that with our participants in a facilitated workshop. That agreements matter, that you're actually committing to a course of action. And I think the other powerful thing for me about co-facilitation is the nature of somebody else being able to watch the room. Because if you're talking, you can't see in the same way. And there's that pause for the other person to watch the room and look at what's happening with the participants. And we'll say to each other, well, maybe we should do this instead.
Yes. And sometimes Joan comes over and says, I just got a great idea. Not anything that we've planned ahead of time. And she's the queen of experiential activities. So she comes up with a brilliant idea in the midst of, 800 people in the room and how we can actually bring them together to communicate sort of peace at the end of the day. And it's like, wow, we've never done that before. Let's do it now. And so it's so creative and innovative and nurturing. And we are taking care of the people that we are facilitating, but we're also facilitating with each other and taking care of each other and paying attention to what's happening, what our needs are, as well as just looking like we're having a great time, because we are.
And I think that Jeanie touched on something really important, that notion of trust. Your co-facilitator says to you, let's try this. And you just go with them.
Mm-hmm.
And that sense of co-facilitation as the dance of leading and following and following and leading, that is so creative and so much fun. So that's our piece on co-facilitation. Any last words?
Yeah, I just keep wanting to look at you because you're such a fun person to look at instead of at the green thing. Just like I do when I co-facilitate with you. I mean, there's them and there's you.
Right. There is that.
And there's us. I mean, that's the other thing, is that as co-facilitators, the seamlessness of being us together, the participants don't really see any sort of disjointedness, even though there's fun and sometimes a little chaos. They just see it as a kind of flow that we bring to the room, and that's important for them as well as for us.
So I said my last word, but now I'm going to say another one. I want to encourage everybody to have the opportunity to co-facilitate. Find somebody else to practice co-facilitation with, because collaboration is magic.
And you're always learning.
She's the queen of magic.
And you're always learning. And that's what's really wonderful. You're learning more about somebody you've known for 25 years. And the more learning that goes on forever is fantastic.
Have a great day.
Boop. End it. We might have to edit that one.